What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. It is Falcons Friday. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. We're getting ready to take on the Carolina Panthers this week, so I like to do my pregame show for the Carolina Panthers versus Atlanta Falcons this week. We are heading up to Charlotte, North Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. So let's jump right into this thing. First, we're going to start off with the Carolina Panthers, and then I'm going to go ahead and jump in the Atlanta Falcons keys to victory. So let's jump right into it. For the Carolina Panthers, we must be able be prepared for the Carolina Panthers offense. As you know, Cam Newton is not playing in this game. He is on IR. He had a foot injury, I believe a Liz Frank injury, so he is out for the remainder of the season. They have their backup playing Kyle Allen. He's had a successful season. I believe he's had won like four. I think they're 4-2 or 5-2 with him playing so far this season, and he's played pretty well. He's basically a game manager. I don't expect too much out of Kyle Allen in this game. Of course, he's not Cam Newton. He's not a game changer. The number one thing, or the number one the engine that runs their team is Christian McCaffrey. We must stop Christian McCaffrey in this game. He's public enemy number one in this game. Christian McCaffrey is definitely in the MVP category this year. Probably the best running back in the game, or having the best running back season this year, other than Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings. Those are the two guys that's 1A, 1B as far as MVP category. But with Christian McCaffrey, he's very dangerous running the ball. He's definitely able to take the ball coast to coast. He's able to score from anywhere on the field because he has that type of speed. When he hits the crease, he can be going. So we definitely want to load the box in this game and be ready to let them know that we're not going to allow them to run the ball, that we're going to be very physical in the trenches. Christian McCaffrey is also able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And like I said, he's the engine. He's the straw that stirs the drink for the Carolina Panthers. So he is the guy that we should be focused on stopping in this game. Secondly, the tight end, Greg Olsen, has been there, I believe, almost a decade, or if not over a decade already. He's always been an excellent tight end, a very explosive tight end, and really the number one receiver for the Carolina Panthers. He's excellent at catching the ball over the middle. He's always been a security blanket to Cam Newton, and he's also been that security blanket for the young Kyle Allen at quarterback. So in this game, we definitely, Devondre Campbell and whoever's covering, whether it's Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones, Foye Oluokun, whoever's covering him, Ricardo Allen, they must be ready for a dogfight. Greg Olsen is very savvy veteran, Pro Bowler for many, many years. Excellent run after catch type of guy. So we definitely have to focus in on him, especially in the red zone. If they get in the red zone, we must be prepared and be ready for Greg Olsen. He has excellent hands, runs excellent routes, and one of the greatest tight ends, one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. So we definitely must be ready for him in this game. As far as the outside goes with the receivers, they have DJ Moore out of the University of Maryland. Been on a team, I think, for 2 or 3 years now. He likes to run intermediate routes. He doesn't really take the top off the defense. I'm not too sure if that's because Cam isn't playing and they're just scared to take the handcuffs or the training wheels off for Kyle Allen, or if it's just that's not what DJ Moore is built for. But to me, when I watch DJ Moore play, he reminds me more of a slot receiver as his like forte, but they use him as their outside receiver or their number one receiver because they did lose their number one receiver in Funchess, Devin Funchess, who they had last season. They no longer have. He was like their big body receiver. So DJ Moore is their number one receiver. Then they have Curtis Samuel. Also, he's out of the University of Ohio State, and he is a very fast player. He's more of a speedster, kind of like a Ted Ginn Jr. And he's another player that can be dangerous on like running plays. They also put him in the backfield. He played running back a little bit at Ohio State as well as wide receiver. So he was a player that kind of converted, or it's kind of a Swiss Army knife for their team. They like to run reverses and things of that nature with him. So we definitely have to be careful in this game. As you know, Ron Rivera is very risky, and they call him Riverboat Ron because he likes to gamble, especially on fourth downs and stuff like that, he likes to go for it. They like to run trick plays with their special teams. So we have to be on our toes in this game, be on our P's and Q's for our Atlanta Falcons. And then let's jump over to the defensive side of the Carolina Panthers. So on the defensive side of the ball, it all starts with Luke Kuechly and those linebackers, him. And for the longest time, they had Thomas Davis, who no longer plays with the Carolina Panthers. I believe he plays for the Chargers. He was cut in the offseason by Carolina. So now it's just Luke Kuechly and Shaq Thompson, who's also a really rangy. And these linebackers like to run sideline to sideline. And the way that they do that, they have an excellent front seven because they have big guys up front. And this is what I was talking about with the Atlanta Falcons. We need to add some big guys in the middle, which would allow Deion Jones and Devondre Campbell to run scot-free sideline to sideline and make tackles. They have big pluggers at their defensive tackles. They have former Falcon Dentari Poe is one of their defensive tackles. And on the other side of him, they have Gerald McCoy, the longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And we know that Gerald McCoy caused a lot of problems when he played with Tampa Bay playing against Atlanta. He had his way in a couple games against us. So we definitely want to be prepared for these two guys up front, that they're not pushing the pocket onto Matt Ryan or pushing Alex Mack and Jamon Brown and Carpenter into Matt Ryan's lap where he doesn't have time to throw. And it all starts with those two pressuring up the middle. They did draft, their first round pick was Brian Burns out of the University of Florida State. He's a very quick guy, tall, thin, puts you in the mind of like a Jason Taylor. If you remember Jason Taylor, the longtime Miami Dolphin. Brian Burns is not the biggest guy, but he has very long arms. He's very quick around the edge, and he likes to use that speed rush. So we have to be ready for him. And on the other side, they have F.A. Obata. He's a defensive end as well. He likes to bull rush, kind of like attack McKinley, as well as they have Bruce Irvin, who likes to speed rush and also bull rush. And you know, Bruce Irvin was a longtime Seattle Seahawk. He did play with us for a brief period of time last year. Bruce Irvin, he is from Georgia, so he did come home and play with us for a little bit. I was kind of sad we didn't re-sign Bruce Irvin because I felt like he would have been a good player to add depth to our team, especially on the rotation as far as bringing pass rush. But we decided to bring back Adrian Claiborne instead of signing Bruce Irvin back. Excuse me. So with that being said, they get pressure up front. That's the name of the game for Carolina, is to bring pressure, try to rush Matt Ryan off his spot, try to make him move, make him feel pressure, make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. Like I said, they like to plug the run and stop the run. They love playing the big fronts, with multiple guys on the defensive line, and they like to drop Eric Reed, their safety, down in the box, kind of like a Keanu O'Neal. So with that being said, I do think that Carolina, when I looked it up, Carolina is like one of the top teams with sacks this year. They're probably top 5, I believe, in the league right now in sacks. So we definitely have to be ready to protect Matt Ryan in this game and definitely be balanced where we're not throwing the ball too much. But we have to be physical with this team because Carolina is not a high-powered offense. They basically like to keep the game low-scoring, under 20 points. So they like to be around that 20-point, 17-point range. So this is going to be an ugly game, or it could possibly be an ugly game because they like to muck the game up. Hopefully we can turn it into a barn burner or a shootout, because if it turns into a shootout, I don't think that they can score with our Atlanta Falcons. We're too high-powered on offense. But with that being said, on their back end, as I mentioned, for their safeties, they have Eric Reed, the longtime Pro Bowler that was playing with the 49ers, was re-signed last year after kneeling with Colin Kaepernick. He was a teammate of Colin Kaepernick the year they made the Super Bowl and a couple years after that. So he's a very savvy player, very smart, very slick. So Matt Ryan has to be careful that he's not eyeing or staring down receivers, because Eric Reed will make you pay if you're staring down your receivers, or he may get a big hit on a player if he doesn't intercept the ball. The other safety on the other end, they have Trey Boston. He's been around for many years. He played with the Chargers. He played with Carolina previously, and he's mainly known as a hitter. He's not good in coverage at all. So if Calvin Ridley or Julio Jones gets behind Trey Boston or Eric Reed, they don't do a good job of tracking the ball. So it could be, this could really turn into a blowout or get ugly if our guys get deep. For their corners, it starts with their number one corner, James Bradbury. I'm not too sure if he's playing in this game because I did hear that he was injured or battling some type of injury. So we'll see if he plays in this game. If he plays in this game, I have a lot of respect from James Bradbury. I think he's one of the most underrated cornerbacks in this league. If you go watch some tape on him, you'll see that he has excellent technique. I just think he don't get the pub that a lot of corners get because he doesn't talk a lot. He's very quiet and mellow type dude. He doesn't talk a bunch of trash like Josh Norman once did, former Carolina Panther. And on the other side, they have the speedy corner out of LSU they drafted last year in Dante Jackson. And he's a guy that will talk and kind of run his mouth and things of that nature. So hopefully on Sunday he has nothing to talk about. And hopefully Ridley or Julio, whoever he's lining up against, hopefully they're giving these guys the business because they can be had in the passing game. Carolina is a good run stop team, but they're terrible in coverage. So we should be able to have our way against them. I don't really expect too much out of Carolina unless they can get pressure on Matt Ryan. But if we protect Matt Ryan and continue our short passing game like we did against the Saints, and Caleb McGarry continues to evolve into this great tackle because he's playing great. He played great last week against Cam Jordan, a Pro Bowl defensive end. So if we keep getting that type of play out of Caleb McGarry and they shut and stonewall these defenders for the Panthers this game could really get out of hand. I really think it could get out of hand and we could really blow these guys out. Now let's jump into some keys to victory. That's pretty much it for the Carolina Panthers side of it. On our side of it, the number one key to victory is always to start the game off fast. If we can get out to a fast start, get out to a lead, because I told you the identity of this team is that we are an offensive team and our defense is a bend but don't break type of defense, meaning we're going to give up some yards and things of that nature, but when you get in the red zone, we're going to tighten up. We're not going to let you score touchdowns like we did in New Orleans. We're going to make you kick field goals. So if we can keep teams out of the red zone, okay, of course, that's the name of the game. It's not even let a team get into the red zone. But I feel like even if we allow teams to get in the red zone, if we can tighten up and get a sack and knock them back, and if we can tighten up and not allow touchdowns but allow field goals, I really don't think it's going to be enough to beat us, because I do think that we're going to score a couple touchdowns in this game and the game might get out of hand. So number one thing, get off to a fast start. Number two, Dirk Cutter and the play calling. You must do what you did last week. Keep that same formula. Keep that same energy. Continue to run the ball. Don't give up on the run. Even if we get down a little bit, don't stop running the ball. Continue to run the ball because it opens up play action. You seen that last week against New Orleans. When we ran the ball successfully with Brian Hill, mainly, Devontae Freeman, Kenjon Barner, we had a reversal with Calvin Ridley. When we kept their defense honest, where they couldn't just, okay, we're just going to pin our ears back and come after Matt Ryan. You can't do that, because if you, pin your ears back and come after Matt Ryan and we audible to a run play, that could really get this defense in trouble. Because when you're rushing up the field to come after Matt Ryan, that leaves rushing lanes wide open. Because a lot of times when cats are blitzing and doing stunts and whatever, they jump out of their rush lane, which creates a huge run void or a huge gap for the running backs to run and find holes. So hopefully they do that, jump and get out of position where we get some good runs. But I feel like in this game, this is going to be a big game for Brian Hill. He's getting his chance to start. And I've told people since the preseason, I've been on the Brian Hill train. If you go back to my first video or one of my first videos in the preseason when I was streaming the games and talking about the games, a lot of Falcons YouTubers and stuff was saying Brian Hill was going to get cut. And I was sticking with Brian Hill, saying, I see a lot of this guy, man. I seen enough out of him in the preseason to feel like he was a quality running back. So I felt that the Falcons would keep him on because we couldn't stash him on our practice squad again, because he's been on the practice squad twice already. So somebody was going to snub him or snatch him from our team like Cincinnati did last year. So we did the right thing with re-signing him. And I believe that was a move by Thomas Dimitroff, which was one of the best moves that Thomas Dimitroff made in bringing Brian Hill back. And I feel like Brian Hill really has a chance to take this starting running back role for 2020. So I wish Devontae Freeman nothing but the best, but it is time for these Thundercats as my dad would call them, these Thundercats to get their chance, man. Brian Hill and Quadra Olison. We finally might see Quadra Olison, and I feel like I tell you every week, I hate injuries, but anytime an injury takes place, the stage is set for one of these young players to show what they got. And I feel like Brian Hill and Quadra Olison are going to have a big game rushing the ball in this game. I feel like they've both been licking their chops to get more snaps. Quadra Olison's been licking his chops to get us one snap with carrying the ball. So he's probably going to be extra excited, extra motivated to prove all his doubters wrong. And I think in this game, like I said, I think it's going to be a physical game, but it's important that we establish the run game in this game. Meaning that we let them know that we're going to be physical. We're not going to have our offensive linemen backpedaling the whole game. We're going to let them go right at this defensive line, run right at them, be very physical with them, and show them that we're not backing down like we did when we went down to New Orleans last week and ran the ball basically down their throat. Also in this game, we have to keep that short. This is the third key to victory. We must keep this the short passing game going. Allow these athletes, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, all of these guys, man. Kenjon Barner, Brian Hill. We must use our screen game. We must use the short passing game. Quick crossing patterns. We must use the play action game. I'm telling you, if we can get this running game going and establish that run early, we'll be able to play action off those runs. And it should be huge gaping gaps behind these linebackers. Because trust me, Luke Kuechly and Thompson likes to fly downfield. So they feel like it's a run play, and we use that play action, and we're running the ball successfully. Kuechly will fly down into the hole to try to stop the run, which is going to leave huge voids behind them. With Julio running slants and Gage running slants, Jaden Graham, he's going to play a big role in this game. If he can take that Austin Hooper role, and I really think that Jaden Graham can do it. I don't want to see Luke Stalker too much out there. I think Luke Stalker is a solid tight end, but I would love to see Jaden Graham because Jaden Graham can stretch the field just like Austin Hooper because he can run down those seams. He's very quick and good after run out the catch. So I would like to see more Jaden Graham in this game step up and try to play that Austin Hooper role. Not do it by himself, but definitely step up and try to play the role of an Austin Hooper, meaning catching the ball over the middle, getting those 5 and 6 yard plays to move the chains, and being an excellent blocker for us. Also in this game, Matt Ryan, I just expect him to be Matt Ryan, do what he did last week, minus the one interception he has. Go out there, play the game like you know how to play it. I love the play calling last week of allowing Matt Ryan to come up to the line and make audibles and things of that nature because Matt Ryan at this point should know this playbook like the back of his hand. He's a veteran quarterback. He's been been playing in this league over a decade. So Matty Ice, I would love to see him be able to go no huddle to tire out that pass rush some in this game. And like I said, just keep the running game going. Get those 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 yards because that wears down the defense. Also do a good job of ball control like we did last game. We must control the time of possession, keep our defense off the field, keep their defense on the field, and try to smash mouth the ball right at these guys. Run the ball on the edges, not just up the middle and up the gut, but run the ball on the edges because last week the most success we had was running the ball on the edges. When we ran the ball on the edges, we were dang near unstoppable. We were getting 8 and 9 yards a clip when we were running the ball on those outside zone runs. So I look for the same thing in this game. I look for Brian Hill to have a big game. I look for Quadra Olison to make his debut and show the Atlanta Falcons fans what he's capable of. And like I said, they're auditioning, man, that if Freeman can't get it together and get healthy, he may be cut next year as a cap casualty. And these two guys, we might be moving on with the young Thundercats in the backfield. We might be going with Brian Hill as a starter or Quadra Olison, but it's going to be a mix of Brian Hill, Quadra Olison, Ito Smith. So I love Devonta Freeman. He's one of my favorite players. I know you can't really help injury, but he better hope that these guys don't ball out. Because if these guys ball out, it could be a potential, cause him to potentially be cut. But with that being said, on the defensive side of the ball, keys to victory is stopping the run, stopping Christian McCaffrey. That's our number one priority. I want to see our defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, and Raheem Morris confuse Kyle Allen like they did last week with Drew Brees. On a lot of plays last week, Drew Brees looked confused. We had guys walking up to the middle of the line in the A-gaps. We had guys blitzing on the corner blitz. I seen one blitz where Isaiah Oliver came in on like a delayed blitz. I want to see that done in this game as well, because last game, those were some quality, it was quality play calling on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. I love the scheme that we played last week, where we had a multiple mix of man-to-man, cover three, zone coverages, zone blitzes. I mean, they were just confused. And I feel like if we can confuse Drew Brees, who's been in this game for ample years and is a Hall of Fame quarterback, a future Hall of Famer, if we could confuse him, it's no reason why we shouldn't dominate Kyle Allen. He should be confused after this game as well. So the number one thing with them is, like I said, stopping the run, because they're not expecting Kyle Allen to have to score or try to outscore us. They basically are going to tell Kyle Allen, hand the ball off, throw the ball short, take your check downs, don't do anything to lose this game. Don't be the reason that we lose the game. But he's not going to be, to me, the reason that they win the game either. They're not trying to win on the back of Kyle Allen. They're trying to win this game on the back of Christian McCaffrey, as they've done all season. So public enemy number one is shutting down Christian McCaffrey, and that goes for the total defense. Everybody on the defensive side of the ball. Everybody needs to have their eyes on number 22 in blue and silver. We must be ready for Christian McCaffrey, and we must go at him, be very physical with him. He is a smaller running back, but don't let that fool you. Christian McCaffrey runs with explosiveness. He's one of those running backs that can take it the distance. Every time he receives a handoff or takes a carry, he can take it to the house. So we have to be ready to stack the box, be physical, stay in our rush lanes. Don't be jumping in and out of lanes and trying to get after the quarterback on every single play, but stay at home sometimes and just hold up your block. Don't allow Christian McCaffrey to see obvious, gaping holes where he can run through. With that being said, that's pretty much for the keys to victory, other than, like I said, just getting pressure on Kyle Allen and shutting down the run. We definitely need to get after Kyle Allen the same way we get after Drew Brees. I love the effort I saw out of Pat McKinley. If you go back and watch, I seen Brian Baldinger breaking down game tape and game film, and he showed how Pat McKinley was rushing like a man with his hair on fire last week. He didn't have any sacks, but he caused a lot of sacks. Him and Grady Jarrett was so disruptive. Him, Grady Jarrett, Adrian Claiborne, Vic Beasley, all of them got in on the action last week, and that's what I like to see. So hopefully in this game, we could go ahead and get after Kyle Allen, get after Kyle Allen and force a turnover or two, put our guys on the short field, and hopefully by the third or fourth quarter, especially by the fourth quarter, hopefully by the early fourth quarter, this game is in the bag. Hopefully we've blown them out the waters, and we can put Matt Schaub in the game, and we can just try to run the ball to drain clock at that point. Because I really think that this game could get ugly fast. If we start off fast, I promise you, the Carolina Panthers cannot score with us and keep up with us, because they don't have the explosive players on their team. We have a number of explosive players: Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Brian Hill, Jaden Grant. We got players on players on players that are playmakers. So I'm looking for our playmakers to make plays in this game. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this game gets out of hand. The only way I see this game staying close is if they get after Matt Ryan, and they're basically shutting down our run game. But I don't see them shutting up our run game down. I just feel like we need to stick with it. I think Dirk Cutter did an excellent job last week of forcing the ball into Brian Hill's hands, making the defense actually beat us and not just giving up on the run game. Because when you run the ball, and especially when you run the ball successfully, where you get like 3 and 4 yards a clip, you make third downs easier and easier to convert on, because it's like now third and short instead of third and long when you're passing the ball all over the field. So I don't want to see Matt Ryan trying to toss the ball all the way around the field all game. I want to see Matt Ryan and Dirk Cutter establish a balance in this game like we had last game, where it's pretty even with rushing and passing. So if we can definitely do that, we'll be able to wear this Philly defense down. And nothing's more demoralizing as a defensive player when the team is running the ball on you and you can't stop it. It's nothing more demoralizing than that. And I don't care what you say. When I'm playing Madden football on PlayStation 4, I don't want teams or players to be able to just run the football against me. I want to force them to pass the ball against me when I'm playing. So the same goes for the Atlanta Falcons. If you want to be known as an excellent defense and a great team, you must stop the run. You must be physical in the trenches in order to win multiple games in this league. You must be physical and more physical than the opponent in front of you. So with that being said, not too much more we need to talk about in this video. I do expect the Atlanta Falcons win in this game. I don't like to give scores because I really don't care about what the score is as long as the Atlanta Falcons win the game. And I'm not guaranteeing a win because I never guarantee any type of wins. I never look over anybody, unlike the Saints. Don't want to drop that bomb on you guys, but I believe the Saints really got their tails kicked last week because they underestimated the Atlanta Falcons because we were 1-7. I told those Saints fans the same thing I'm going to tell us this week and the same thing I'm going to tell Carolina fans or any other fans. It's any given Sunday. Anybody can beat anybody. You just have to come prepared to play, come hungry, and bring the effort. And I felt like last week we had an excellent game plan. The guys played together. They played with aggression, but they played controlled football, and they played organized football. They didn't have a bunch of flags and penalties and things of that nature. So it was good to see us go out and play a full, complete 4-quarter game where we pretty much dominated the Saints from start to finish. So hopefully that continues in this game and we can continue to build on our win streak because I really think we still have a chance at this division, y'all. Believe it or not, I believe the Saints are in trouble. They're down. Lattimore, their number one corner, and they going to Tampa Bay to face Mike Evans in that vaulted offense with Bruce Arians that loves to throw the ball long. And I think they're going to be in a mess of trouble or a heap of trouble, as the older folks will say, if Jameis Winston and Bruce Arians start to air that ball out against that depleted secondary of the New Orleans Saints or that putrid secondary of the New Orleans Saints, because the only corner they really have that I respect over there in New Orleans is Lattimore. Without Lattimore, they're really in trouble. So I really think that the Buccaneers, and mark my words, you heard it here first, I really think that the Buccaneers might upset the Saints on Sunday. And that's something that I'm not guaranteeing either, but that's just my belief. If I had to bet money, I think that the Buccaneers will win this game on Sunday because the Saints are banged up. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. If you like this the video, please like, share, subscribe. Tell all your Falcons friends, family about the page. Like I said, I do it for my fans, man. We on our road to 1,000, so I can start doing live streams. We're looking for 1,000 followers or more, so I can go ahead and start doing my live streams and things of that nature. I appreciate all you guys that have supported me and supported my page. Love all you guys, man. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Definitely look for this Atlanta Falcons team to get the win on Sunday. One other quick thing I wanted to touch on that I didn't touch on in the video before I log off here. Shout outs to your boy Young Wei Koo on Sunday. He did win the Special Teams Player of the Week, 6 for 6 on his field goals last week. So hopefully he can keep that up, keep up the great work, Young Wei, because he's playing for a contract next year as well. So hopefully we found our kicker of the future. But he looked excellent on Sunday. He did look like he was fazed by the pressure of the Superdome and playing an away game. So I don't see any reason why he was struggling this game. But we're looking for him to do big things for us in this game as well and keep up the good work. But like I said, this has been your boy Jew. I'll highlight y'all in the next video. As I always say, please like, please share, please subscribe. If you would like to donate to my Atlanta Falcons page, you always can go to the Cash App. It'll be the $ Jew Talk Sports. As always, rise up Falcons Nation. I'll highlight y'all in the next video. I will have a post-game video for y'all probably on Monday. If we come away with the victory and things of that nature, and I'm not too busy, I might do it on Sunday night. But now that we finally got us a victory and things of that nature, I'm in a good mood. Hopefully, after Sunday, I'm even in a better mood. And hopefully the Atlanta Falcons fans can see that we've turned this thing around. But like I said, man, this been your boy Jew. I'm out. I'll holla at y'all in the next video. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the other games. All right, I'm out. Peace.